Welcome to the Value Proposition by the Fitness Business Podcast. I'm your host, Sarah Pellegrino. If you've heard of REX Roundtables, then chances are you've heard of their CEO, Eddie Tock. REX Roundtables is a global organization that runs executive mastermind roundtables for business owners and chief executives. Eddie is also a top speaker for the IRSA conventions, club industry shows, and has been a faculty member for IRSA's Institute for Professional Club Management. He has worked with over 1,500 clubs worldwide since 1983. Eddie, hello. Welcome to the Value Proposition.
Well, thank you, Sarah, for having us. I really appreciate taking time this morning, such a busy time of the year.
Absolutely. We're happy to have you all. Now, the Value Proposition was created specifically for industry suppliers to showcase the value that they bring to help club owners and operators beyond just their product and service. On today's episode, we'll be speaking with Eddie and a few esteemed REX Roundtable members on the value proposition for peer networking. Those guests today are Kevin McHugh, COO of the Atlantic Club, Jeff Sanders, CEO of Athletic Apex Health Clubs, and Lisa Gorsline, President of Corpus Christi Athletic Club. Thank you all so much for being here. All right, Eddie, we're going to start it off with you today with our 3RM. For our listeners, that means 3 real minutes. And that's going to give our listeners and viewers a good overview of what REX is in about 3 minutes. All right. So, Eddie, in 60 seconds, give us a brief history of REX Roundtables.
Okay. So in 1989, Will Phillips started REX Roundtables. He was a partner with Jerry Faust, who started the first industry roundtable with Rick Caro, who founded IRSA. REX Roundtables are individuals, entrepreneurs, club owners that meet 3 times a year for 3 days, typically 15 to 18 individuals that don't compete. They share deeply. They become a second family. They're well connected. They become an amazing resource. Currently, we have 2,700 clubs across the world. We have over 25 countries that we're in, over 250 members. Here in the U.S., we've got currently a dozen groups of owners and executives, and we're looking actually to expand. We've added, since shutdown, we've actually added 2 new groups. One's already full. The other one is 2/3 full, and we're going to add 2 additional groups on top of that. It's a resource that our focus is to improve the performance of your business and the quality of your life.
I love it. I love it. And, Eddie, you're walking around a trade show floor and someone asks you, why should I join REX? What's the value? What's your sales pitch there?
Because they'll get at least a dozen, if not more, individuals that actually genuinely care about helping their club and their business like they've never had before. A peer network is faster learning, better learning, and deeper learning than going to any conference, having any kind of consultant. And I had been a consultant for 21 years prior to this. And if someone asked me to do consulting for them, I tell them, no, go join a roundtable. I'll help you anyway, but so will 15 other people help you. And, none of us is as smart as all of us are smart. And we're always trying to continually learn. And that's the power of the roundtables. As good as you are as an entrepreneur, you can get better. And if you look at professional athletes, why do professional athletes have coaches? A good friend of mine was a strength coach for the Yankees for 12 years. And he's the person that would work with Derek Jeter and Mariano Rivera. And these are some amazing athletes, yet they still had strength coaches. So we can always get better.
So true, Eddie. I love that. Now, last one for you. Describe to us who in the industry will truly benefit from REX Roundtables.
Well, there's a variety of levels that we work with. We have multi-club operators that have more than 10 clubs, 15, 20 clubs. We have single club owners, many single club owners as well. We have general managers. We have COOs like Kevin, CEOs as well. And then for everybody who's in a roundtable, we have a sales managers roundtable and a marketing directors roundtable that to get into those, your boss has to be in a regular REX roundtable as well.
Awesome.
And in addition to that, we also have a personal training directors workshop that we're going to start doing now once a year.
That's great. And Eddie, if I'm new as a club owner to the industry, I just stepped in the industry, can I join REX?
Absolutely. We have some roundtables where there's very experienced operators that have been around for 15, 20 years. And we have some that if you're willing to learn and have an open mind to learning and you're willing to support and share your ideas with everybody else in the group, then you're a good fit. Everybody wants to be the dumbest person in the room and learn. And the reality is we want you to be the dumbest and the smartest at the same time.
There you go. That's great. That's great. And then Eddie, just give us an overview again. I know you mentioned it briefly in the beginning, but how many tables are in the US? And then talk to us a little bit about international REX Roundtables.
So currently we have two groups in Italy. We have one that used to be just Europe, but it's expanded to include part of the Middle East and now part of Asia. So it's a really United Nations of REX. And Fausto Di Giulio runs those three. And then in Australia and New Zealand, we have another 4 REX Roundtable groups that Justin Tamsett runs and has been doing for over 15 years. So that's our international look. Here in North America, we actually have clubs from South America, from Brazil and Chile. We also have Canadian club owners all in the US roundtables. And we currently have a dozen of owners and executives here in the US, and we're looking to expand that possibly by the end of the summer to 14.
Love to see the growth. That's fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. And, Eddie, I've been fortunate enough to see REX in action during my time as a supplier, but share with us how often your roundtables meet and what's the feel of those meetings? What does that look like? What's the structure there? What can one expect to get out of those meetings?
Well, I've been very fortunate. I have some of the most amazing, brilliant people on our team. Brent Darden, who's a former club owner of one of the best clubs in the country, who is past president of URSA and on the URSA board. He runs 3 of our roundtables, does an amazing job. Mark Miller, the COO of Merit Clubs, runs our GM roundtable. And Justin Tamsett, who we all know from Australia, is now coming over to the US to help us. He's begun running 4 of our REX Roundtable groups. So I've got an amazing team. The goal is that everybody comes in. If you ask Kevin, when Kevin first joined the Roundtable, he always wanted a $50,000 idea before he left the room at the end of 3 days. So he really set the bar really high. But the reality is that we want to work with you on 3 different levels. We call them the 3 agendas. The first agenda is all operational. It's what you see in every business every day when you walk in. It's sales, marketing, facilities, retention, financials, etc. Everybody needs that. That will not get you where you want to go in your business, though. You've got to move to the second and third agenda. Second agenda has to do with culture, strategy, staffing, and systems. And so one of the things we do with the roundtable is we get you outside the industry. Every 3rd to 5th meeting, typically, we'll get you outside the box. Mm-hmm. And the third agenda is leadership development of you as an individual, giving you tools to take back home to develop better leaders in your company or in your club so you don't have to micromanage everything. And for example, when we take you outside, we've done leadership development with Battlefield Leadership at Gettysburg and Little Bighorn. We've taken clubs to Nick's Pizza, who's a cover story of Inc. magazine, and learn about culture and systems there. We have taken 3 groups so far to the Ford Edison Museum, and we hired the former museum director to teach us about innovation for a day. We actually had one scheduled this fall, but we're going to reschedule it because of all the shutdowns to next spring. And we try and give you, and there's many other things we get you outside the industry. We're trying to give you a perspective from a bigger picture, so that you're not learning just from the gym down the street. You're learning from other industries, and you can take pieces in and apply it into your business and move forward faster than anybody else in our industry.
That's so important to learn from other industries. I love that aspect. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. And now we're going to turn the mic over to our REX members that have joined us today so you can hear straight from them the true value of peer networking in the fitness industry. So Kevin, sir, I'm going to turn it over to you first. Tell us a little about the Atlantic Club.
Well, the Atlantic Club is, we have two locations. We have a large location on 44 acres in Manasquan, New Jersey, which is about an hour from the beach. That's multi-purpose. We've got the club, we've got the spa, we've got a school, we've got tennis, and many, many other activities on that campus. In Red Bank, we have an adult-only club, which is located in an urban setting that's adult-only and has a spa to it. And now we just added a personal training studio that's adjacent to the building that we did during COVID. We're about $130 a month per membership. We've got 9,000 members, but we represent about 25,000 other people will buy from us because we're a business that has 33% membership dues and 67% ancillary income. So through this time, we've been very interesting time because we're trying to get 7 businesses reopened and everyone has different guidelines.
Wow. Yes, you have been very busy. Oh my goodness. Now, Kevin, how long have you been part of REX and what is your favorite aspect of the meetings?
Okay, I've been with REX for about 7 years. And my favorite part of REX is when we go, you're not dealing with just great COOs or great CEOs. You're dealing with really great leaders. And I don't say that, I really mean that. And the one thing that we talk about is when you go into that meeting and even after the meeting, it's all about pure honesty. There's no sugarcoating anything. If you don't believe something is being said correctly by a fellow person, you hold them accountable. You're not doing that. Don't you're doing that. Really, what are you doing? And I think that's the key. And we hold everybody accountable. And my favorite part of REX is not what we do at the meeting, is what we do in between the meetings, because we have a unbelievable network of people that when they have a question, we answer it. We prioritize it. We don't let someone wait a day. If they ask a question, they obviously need an answer. And our team will get back to that person. We'll stop what we're doing. We'll get, as soon as we can, and we'll help that person out. And it's really a very motivating time. And you don't really get that chance in the health and fitness industry. And if you can get away from the business for 3 times a year or 4 times a year, and then also talking to them throughout the months in between, it just really is a great management tool.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing. And Kevin, we want to share this video and this podcast. We want someone that hasn't joined REX to listen to this and say, why should I join? So what would you say to someone who hasn't joined yet, that their reasoning is, I've been in the industry so long, what could REX possibly still teach me?
The most important thing I found out in my first REX meeting is I thought I was really, really, really a special club until I sat around 16 other people that everybody in that room beat me doing something. And so I walked in thinking, oh, the Atlantic Club, they're going to really learn a lot from me. And I wound up learning a tremendous amount from them. And I think if you aren't willing to be coachable, don't join REX, because you are going to find out that you don't know all the answers. You're going to find out the way you're doing things is not the best. And you really have to be open to say, it's time to change, and I'm going to change with what people that are doing the best of breed are doing, and you're going to find that in REX.
So true. Thank you so much, Kevin. All right, Lisa, I'm going to turn it over to you now. We're trying to show people that there is something for everyone in REX. So share with our listeners a little about Corpus Christi Athletic Club.
Sure. Thanks, Sarah. We're a 110,000 square foot facility. We are in Corpus Christi, Texas. We are individually owned and operated locally. We are a family club. I right now have about 200 employees. And we have about 4,500 membership units, which is equivalent to about 11,000 members. So it's a pretty large club.
I'd say. Awesome. And then Lisa, what is your price point if you're comfortable sharing?
Absolutely. An individual member is $81 a month, and then a family membership runs $120 a month.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And Lisa, how long have you been part of REX, and what's most valuable to you?
Absolutely. I've been with REX since September of 2014. It seems so long ago, but I truly love REX. I feel that REX is valuable to me because it's a trusted environment. I piggyback off what Kevin said. You go in there and you are honest, and if you are honest, you learn so much from everybody else. I've built really long-lasting friendships. It goes a lot longer than just the meeting. We email each other, we call each other, we support each other, we talk to each other, sometimes weekly, sometimes daily. I mean, it doesn't stop. We go in there and we learn about the industry standards. We learn about research that's going on in our industry. We find out our policies and procedures. So it provides me with a very safe environment with people that I truly trust and I learn from.
I love the piece about the safe environment, Lisa. That's really important to ask those burning questions that you may be a little shy to ask someone else. That's great. Lisa, what has been the return on investment for Corpus Christi Athletic Club from REX Roundtables?
I cannot put a price on it. My owner asked me just the other day because, with COVID, we are restructuring our budget, as most health clubs are right now. And he asked me if there was one thing that I would not want to give up, what would it be? And I honestly answered REX, because they help me be a better leader. They help my employees be better employees. And they help I feel like the success of the athletic club goes back to my REX Roundtable group.
Wow. That's pretty powerful right there, Lisa. Thank you so much. All right, Jeff, you ready? We're coming to you. Tell us about Athletic Apex Health Clubs.
Athletic Apex Health Clubs, it really was birthed out of a really unique and proprietary training system that our founder created, and in fixing unfixable people and chronic pain, and we ended up he created a lot of trademarks and patents, and so we've been in the business a little over 13, 14 years, but then just decided let's start opening up big box health clubs and bring that training program to a larger group of people outside of the more specialized, athletes and people like that. Let's go to everybody. So we've opened up. We have a few locations. We have one in Florida, one in Rochester, New York right now. We've got a couple of their smaller locations and partnerships with Concert Golf and a few organizations around the U.S. And we've got one in Texas. So we're expanding and growing. Right now between the two, Florida and Rochester location, we've got around 9,000 members. We really are pushing hard to have a culture and a branding that people want to be a part of. And so, and our membership fees, they range. It really depends on the market. So in Florida, we have to compete a little bit differently. We're at about a $40 a month price range there, but everything's included: towels, kids, Group X. Up in Rochester, we're looking around $65, $70 a month. For that. And it's just, again, everything's included, but we have an indoor saltwater heated pool up here. Just a really driving to be and bring a brand and a culture that people want to be a part of. So that's a little bit about, who we are.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much. And Jeff, if I'm understanding this correct, you're fairly new to REX. Is that true?
I was just thinking when you asked the question earlier, how long have you been a part of REX? And they just spit it right out. I was thinking I was going to text Eddie. I feel like I've been here for 4 years, and it's been probably a month and a half, Eddie. And that's in a good way. I feel like I've been here forever. But yeah, just through COVID, this was something that was brought to my attention. I reached out to Brent Darden, who Eddie mentioned. I've got a relationship there, and spoke with Eddie. And to be honest, I didn't jump right on. It took a little bit of Eddie following up with me, and because I had a lot of questions I think everyone else has when you're looking at this. So yeah, I'm fairly new at this.
All right. Well, Jeff, what was one of those questions? What was one of those hurdles to joining?
I think in the fitness industry, what happens is you get bombarded with so many, options on how to invest your money to bring a return on that investment. So everybody comes at it from marketing, staffing, branding, specialized equipment. This is the newest thing out, and you need to put this in, and this is going to create so much more money. And here's a special towel system so people don't steal towels. And so you get bombarded with, to Lisa's point, you have a budget. And so for me, my biggest hurdle in the beginning was, is this just something else out there that comes off as it could be great, and then I spend money on it and I walk away going, I wish I would have put my money somewhere else. And that, to be honest, was the only hurdle I had. Eddie was phenomenal. I really respect Brent. I've got a limited amount of money to put into things, and that was difficult for me to try to jump that hurdle and say, yeah, let me invest in this, not knowing what it would be. So that was a challenge for me up front.
Worth the investment? I'm thinking that's a yes.
I would tell anybody and everybody right now, don't even hesitate. I mean, for me, it was completely worth it. The relationships you build, the insight you get into the industry. I can't even tell you the value. There's not a monetary value that I could put to it now. And just one brief example, I had a guy that wrangled our founder, wrangled onto a call and was sales pitching him $16,000 to help create a sales manual, and helping with 3 months of things. And it was one text to Eddie, one post on Slack to my team. And I had four templates and amazing content and put up, and it didn't cost me anything. I'm a part of REX. I'm a part of a team that wants to unify and come together, which is unique. I've been in quite a few industries before fitness, and you don't have teams like this where it's a peer network. You have teams where people get together and they only allow one fitness guy in, one mobile guy in, those are all over the place, but that doesn't help you grow your business. And then if you do try to put people together, people aren't honest with each other. Like, well, that's my competitor. I don't want them to think I'm hurting and come after my people. So this is there's not a monetary value that I can put to this because of just everything that comes with it. It's not just you're talking to people and building these great relationships. You're getting insights in how to be the most effective operator from people in your industry. And that's amazing for me.
That's great. And you teed me up so well, Jeff. So I was going to ask each of you for a tangible, example of something that you learned. You had a problem, you took it to REX, someone helped you, you went back to your club and you implemented it. Lisa, can you give us an example, a sales technique, a vendor recommendation? What's something you went specifically to REX to help you with?
Mine was a vendor recommendation. I was hearing from all my REX peers that they were getting surveys from their members, and how did they use those surveys? How did they build their club from the feedback of the members? And so there's 6 or 7 that I know of out there. And of course, I didn't have the time to go out and research each one and listen to the sales pitch that the vendors give us. And with REX, they do something that's really unique. They bring the vendors to us. We have to go out and do the research. They're in a room with us with maybe 15 other people. So you really get that one-on-one that you don't get at the trade shows. I feel like the trade shows, we're with thousands of people and we're just a number, and they just do their sales pitches real quick because they need to get on to the next person. And that's okay. I get that. I understand that. But with REX, we get to go to dinner with them. We get to have drinks with them. We get to learn about their business, and we get to find out other people in our REX group that already have them as vendors. So we get the true pros and cons of the different vendors. So that helped me choose Medallia MXM. And something that helped me tremendously was we were ready to remodel our fitness center. Mm-hmm. And I remember back when we just first started Medallia, I started getting all these survey feedbacks that our locker room was dirty. And I'm like, our locker room is not dirty. So I went back to a couple members that said that, and we walked in together, and we had the small little 1 by 1 inch tile, and it was that ugly gray color of the 60s, because my club's 32 years old. So it was the original. And it dawned on me like that. They think it's dirty because it's old. So I was going to spend $300,000 in my fitness center, and I did a complete 360, and I remodeled my locker room because of those surveys. I think sometimes as leaders, we think we know what the members want and what their needs are, but we really don't until we ask them. So I can tell you, Sarah, that was huge for me, because I was fixing to waste $300,000, well, not waste, but put $300,000 in an area that the members weren't concerned about at all.
Wow, that's very powerful. Talk about a cost savings there, huh?
Yes, yes.
Awesome. Well, Kevin, how about you, sir? You know, any specific examples you can give our listeners today?
Yeah, one of the things that I would take away as one of the great learnings that I've had is that some of the supplier meetings that Eddie has set up for us, whether it's with a equipment supplier, it could be with Medallia, it could have been with Perkville. It provided us the opportunity at the Atlantic Club to be different, because we're exposed to more suppliers that we would have ever been in the industry, because a lot of the people that we get to meet have great products, but we would never know them on the trade show floor. And they provided such added benefits because we get to see how other clubs are using them. And we learn from what other clubs are using, and then we figure out how to make it work best for our business. Those are the things that you can't put a dollar value to, but I will say that we are a much more developed company because of the things that have come to us through the REX Roundtables. And a lot of it has brought us significant bottom line benefit.
That's so great. Thank you for sharing. And Eddie, I'm going to turn it back over to you. I know, our three guests have just hit it on the head today, but can you, in your opinion, what is the power of the relationships that are formed within REX Roundtables?
I think, Sarah, to echo everybody's point, you get a great group of leaders around you that help you get better. That helps the performance of your business beyond a reasonable doubt. Yeah. We also work on the quality of your life. We get to know you personally. There were REX members that have been close friends now for over a dozen years that didn't know each other before they joined our roundtable. Yeah. And to me, that means a lot. During the shutdown, we had to make a tough decision. What do we do? Do we sit back and be complacent, or we get really overly aggressive to go out of our way and give everybody 500% support? And that was our decision. So we started weekly Zoom calls. So I'm on 14 weekly Zoom calls with every REX Roundtable meeting. The majority of the groups are also on Slack. And as Jeff can tell you from being new, the amount of talk, I have some groups that talk on Slack 3 times a week. I have some that do it 3 times a day. Mm. Okay? Some other groups prefer email. But the bottom line is the communication is constant. It's not once a week or once a month. It's once a day in some cases. But to Blair McHaney, who is a CEO of MXM, is also a REX member for 15 years. Mm-hmm. He spoke about the speed of information in the beginning, how we helped everybody. And he gave an example of something I got early on one of the government funding programs. As soon as I got it, within 9 minutes, every single REX member had it in their hands. Wow. And so that becomes a little bit a different type of support that they can't get anywhere else. We've also helped organize now, up to yesterday, 8 different states of club owners to go speak to the government level. Wow. Which is the other power of being as part of this program. And all of them have mentioned the REX Trusted Suppliers. So we have a program called the REX Trusted Suppliers. It's not a sponsorship they can buy. It's not sold to the highest bidder. If you want that, go buy an ad somewhere else. That's not what we do. They have a 4-page ethical letter they have to sign. They have to give better service than anybody else. There's only about a dozen companies. They have to come in and give a 30-minute educational presentation to our teams. And then in exchange for that, they get more time and more face time with everyone. And it's become a real win-win situation. As a matter of fact, in the last 13 years that we've had this program, they've been really supportive of everyone. But we've also kicked out 4 companies for not giving great service. So the club owners tell me that I'm worse than Yelp.
Well, that's good. You're vetting them.
Absolutely. But the way this program started was not motivated by anything except how do we give back more. And some of our REX members came to me in 2008 and said, we're going to go to Ursa. We love Ursa. We do something different before Ursa? And we put together a high-level educational program. When we did, we looked at the bottom line bill was going to be over $40,000. And as a result, we reached out to Precor, Epsilon, and ABC Financial, and they were all really gracious in helping support us. And then it grew from there. So for 2 years, we rented out the San Diego Zoo, put an outside speaker in. This year, we had rented out Petco Park, where the San Diego Padres play, to do a big event before the convention got canceled. We've worked with the Leadership Challenge Company. We brought them in to work with all of our REX members for a full day workshop. We had the Oz principles. So we're looking outside the box constantly to have all the REX trusted suppliers help support everybody else. In exchange, everybody's business gets better and bigger. My role is to be the bridge between the club owners and operators and the suppliers that we feel are going to offer the most benefit for them.
That's great. All right, Eddie, tell us a little bit about the application process and how someone becomes a REX member.
Well, it's fairly simple, but it's really not just my decision. So we have a written application, and the majority of the REX members typically come as referrals from other club operators, club owners, or some of our REX trusted suppliers. Have done an amazing job of identifying some really great people out in our industry. You fill an application out, then we have a call for about a half hour. The person whose roundtable you may be joining, who runs it, either Brent Darden, Mark Miller, or Justin, would also have a half-hour phone call with you. And then we have 2 of the REX members in each roundtable give you a call. And at that time, it's a chance for the new candidate to really find out what it's like inside of a roundtable, what happens, what goes on. And it's also a really good chance for the candidate to shine and show why they should be part of that team. So it really is a team. And if you know that, here's the good problem we have. Of the roundtables we have right now, the majority of them, like Kevin's group, are full. Yeah. Not taking anybody. I mean, it's like a club with too many members. It's a great problem to have. We all wish we had that problem.
Absolutely.
That's why we're starting new groups going forward. And then they come to the meeting. And when they come to the meeting, then the group makes a final decision. And Lisa will tell you, I mean, I've been to all the different groups, and Lisa's group is one of the tougher ones where they grill that person. And it's not just on business. And a lot of it's done over dinner. And with some tough personal questions. And if you're not going to open up in front of 15 other great people, you're not going to make it. I have one group, the Young Guns group, that has rejected 7 people.
Wow.
After they've been in the meeting, not during, usually everybody gets knocked out during the phone process. They actually got them in the meeting, and 7 people in the last 5 years didn't make it. So, and it's not that hard to get in. They were looking for a particular type of club operator, and that was the reason why.
Okay.
But once you're in for a long. Most people that join REX stay in until they leave the industry. That's the beauty of it. That's been pretty strong throughout that. And yes, about 5 years ago, I realigned a lot of probably 9 different REX members. Yeah. I traded them from their roundtable to another roundtable in the middle of the summer. And I moved everybody to a happier place for their business, and they're still connected to their own roundtable. And everybody thought, because I played baseball, that I wanted to be a baseball GM. And I made the trade. By coincidence, the trades happened like right before the baseball trading deadline in July one year.
I love that. Well, that's good. You're watching the tables, making sure everyone's where they need to be the most efficient. So that's great. Now, Eddie, if someone wants to know more about joining REX, what is the first step that they should take after listening?
The easiest thing is to send me an email or go to our website. Go to REX Roundtables with an S.com. or send it to Eddie@REXRoundtables.com, and we can start the process there.
All right, Eddie, you and I spoke earlier this week about how when COVID-19 struck, club owners messaged you about the importance of their REX dues. The word you used was sacred, which I thought was so awesome, meaning they wanted to continue to meet and exchange ideas throughout this trying time. What did this level of validation mean to you, and how have you all adapted your meetings in the wake of COVID-19?
Well, it was pretty amazing. We had someone who's been in the roundtable for about 6 years send over an email after the second or third call we had to the entire group and said, I can't thank you enough. I thought I learned a lot and I got a lot out before this. It's priceless. If my REX dues don't go through, that means I went out of business and I died. And the response that some of his roundtable, and this is the roundtable that's been together almost 20 years,
Wow.
sent back. One of them said, I told my staff, these dues are sacred. We can pay no other bills, but we're paying REX. And it almost made me cry. It was pretty amazing. And everybody's been really, really supportive of each other and of us getting through this. And it's not for the money. It's because of the community we've created, and everybody has created. It's not us. We're just part of the community. It's everybody else that has done an amazing job. And that community is priceless. And I just want to give you one other example of how strong that community is. A couple of years ago, we were out to dinner in a roundtable meeting, and sitting across from me, one of the owners said, hey, I got an issue I need to talk to you about when we get a chance. He said, I'm really concerned about my clubs. I have to go in the hospital for surgery, and I don't want my brother running the clubs when I'm in the hospital. Because he's a great CPA, but he's horrible with people. I can't let him near my staff. I'll have none left when I come back out. And we're sitting there going, I said, well, and he told us he had an intestinal issue, wasn't life-threatening, but he had to go in. And I said, when do you need this? And this is a May meeting. And he said, well, probably in July. I said, well, give me the dates. I'll come down and run the club for a week. And as I said that, 2 other people said the same thing. And so, within a matter of like 5 minutes, he had 3 weeks covered.
Wow.
And yeah. Where else do you get that? I mean, it's pretty amazing.
That's such testament to the value of REX, Eddie. It really is. Great, great team. Now I want to hand it over to our guests today, the REX members. Jeff, I'll let you start, but can you share with us how REX has supported you and your team with operations throughout COVID-19?
Yeah, as I'd mentioned earlier in this business, if you have an actively engaged executive or owner, we're getting roped into calls all the time, just like that one. And you don't know, you have to get on these calls and you have to investigate and waste so much time sometimes to learn that's not a fit, And so going into COVID, I'm going to give you one specific example, but I can't tell you how many times I've saved money or saved time by running it by my team and someone immediately saying, oh, I've done that. Don't even waste your time. Or, man, you know what? 7 people jumping up. We've done it and we love that. We love promotion ball. They're amazing. They've done great. So it's the affirmation and saving time. And we all are trying to save time so we can invest our time where it brings back the biggest return. So for me, when COVID first hit, what was the big talk? What do we tell our members? What do we do? How long is this going to be? Are we shut down for a week? Is it a month? Is it a year? What are we charging? Are we not charging members? It was all these questions and no one really knew, but having a round table where we got on and spent 2-3 calls dedicated specifically to what are you telling your members? What are you going to do? Oh, okay. What are you going to do? Well, hey, that guy, this guy said this, Mike and Mike said this, and I like that, but I didn't like this. And so being able to work as a team and put something together. And I'm telling you, I was able to craft a communication to my staff and to my members, which is the most important part. And I can't tell you the response I got was so amazing. And hey, we're going to support you through this. And man, thank you for giving us these 3 options. And this is more than fair. And so in a time where you don't know, it's never happened before to me, and I'm a younger guy, but I was like, I didn't go through the 2008, everything that was going on. And this is something new. And to have the wisdom and experience of people who've gone through it, and then a group of people to help give you the data to craft in a communication, for me it set me up to succeed post COVID. And I believe right now I wouldn't be set up to succeed where I am now coming out of this thing with one club open and one hopefully soon. I wouldn't be there if I didn't have this team and the off call calls that we're making and talking and PPP. I mean, there's just so much stuff that you don't know. And I can't tell you that this COVID thing, this has accented the most, to the point where, I don't know if I told you this, Eddie, but I made the comment to my team, if there's a point where our budget can't afford it, then I'm paying it out of my pocket, because it's going to be my card, my personal card on file. It's that valuable to me, and I can't tell. I'll get on the phone with anybody and spend 5 minutes and tell them how valuable it is. So COVID has accented the value more so than not having that, that pandemic hit for me, because it showed the parts I needed help with and the team that helped me. So it was huge for me in that.
That's great. Kevin, can you share with us how REX has supported you throughout COVID-19?
Sure. Well, to the point that we were talking about, you're too young for 2008. I'm not. I lived through 2008 and 2009. And 2000, I give up everything to have 2008 right now. At least I know I was open. At least I knew I had control. At least I know we could figure it out. I have no control right now. We don't know when we're opening. I have 7 different businesses that are open piecemeal. So it's a strategy. But here's what really helped me out: is there was like 3 stages that we went through with REX with the COVID. We had the opening stage where we said how we survived this, and we all worked through how to get the PPP. We had no idea what the next step was, and we said, okay, so now we got our PPP money. How do we become safe? And that was a whole thing for us too, because we didn't know. We were clean, but we weren't sanitized the way that we are sanitized today. I would put us up against any club, any industry, any place to walk in. When we open, we are the safest place in the United States to open up with, and so are probably all other gyms. And we've done such a bad job as an industry, and I'm guilty of it too, that they think that we're a risk when we are really we're the vaccine that they all need. And we just have not gotten that across to our governors, to our senators. And it's our responsibility. It's not just URSA's responsibility. We did a crappy job, and we've got to really do a really good job with that. But then we got through that stage. We all are now safe. We're now past that. And now we got to figure out how to reopen. And because we are a team, and I'm not just talking about the REX crew calls, there's 16, but when we're on the other calls with Club Solutions or on the other calls with other REX members, we're finding out what people are doing that are right, people are doing wrong. I mean, I love when one of the REX guys, he has like 30 clubs, he says, let me tell you what I wouldn't do if I were you, what we did when we reopened that I would not think that you need to do. Those are the type of conversations that make you look smarter when you do reopen and you're opening late, because other people will share their mistakes and also share the things that are working. So I think whenever we get a chance to reopen, I couldn't have done it. We had to lay off 745 employees on March 16th and left 5 employees in our company. And we only brought back employees about 15 days ago, and we only brought back 10. So we're right now, we were operating solo, and I could not have done it without REX. I just could not have done it without REX. And I don't know what, even starting the day off, that I would have not been able to make a call. So that was, you needed company, and that was what we had. So the community really came out stronger than ever. So
Thank you.
if I thought REX was valuable before this, it's tenfold now.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing, Kevin. We wish you the best of luck as everybody's preparing to reopen here. All right, Lisa, how about you? How has REX supported you in Corpus Christi throughout COVID-19?
REX has supported me, Sarah, emotionally as well as anything else. None of us signed up for this when we became managers or owners of our clubs. There's no playbook. And I turned to my REX peers when I had to, like Kevin, lay off people, when I was losing money. Another catastrophe happened a couple years ago where a hurricane hit Texas, and the REX group came up with a fundraiser and gave us money to give to our families to help us through the hurricane process. So it's so deep, Sarah. It's more than just exchanging material, resources, research. It's more than that. It's really having each other's backs, really having that sincere, gut-wrenching, honest relationship with each other. And I wouldn't want to be friends with anybody else outside my REX group if it came down to it, because if we're out on that war field, they would have my back and I would have their back. We fight for each other. We love each other. We grow with each other. We hurt with each other, and we love on each other. And as leaders, we need that, because my husband doesn't know what I'm going through here at the club. My daughter doesn't know. My dog doesn't know. I even asked my dog the other day, and she just looked at me like everybody else. But my REX peers know exactly what I'm going through, and they know what I need, when I need it, and how to give it to me. I love REX.
Wow. Well, I think you just drove our point home there, Lisa, as to the value proposition for peer networking, specifically with REX Roundtables. Thank you all for tuning in today to hear the value proposition for peer networking in the fitness industry. Tune in August 21st as we explore the value proposition of Power Plate. And to show we walk the talk at Fitness Business Podcast, all the resources and links for today, Eddie's email and Rex's website, can be found at fitnessbusinesspodcast.com, adding value to our FBP family. Until next month, what you leave behind is not what is engraved in stone, monuments, but what is woven into the lives of others. Thank you all so much for joining us today, and we'll catch you next time. Bye.